In this episode...
Can I have my free hit back, please?
Nah.
The Fantasy Football Show.
Hello listeners, welcome back to episode 54 of Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around Fantasy Premier League. My name's Serge.
My name's James. Can I have my free hit back?
No, you cannot. You cannot. We're in the middle of a big double game week, biggest double game week of the year.
Yeah.
9 games down, 6 to go.
Yeah, we should clarify. It's Monday lunchtime.
It is.
For people who catch up, and we're not covering Arsenal, Newcastle, and the Tuesday games. We're going to record again very early Thursday morning, I believe.
We'll try and get something out to you. Well, we will get something out to you by mid-morning on Thursday. So that'll give you still a day and a half before game week 33's deadline, which is another blank game week, only 6 matches. So we're 9 games into what promised to be the biggest game week of the season. And I think the early kickoff on Saturday pretty much has summed up this entire free hit, right? We had this massive high of everybody's captain Aguero or triple captain Aguero, right? There's a handful of people who haven't. And you get this amazing, he scored, goal and assist, going to be in the maximum bonus points or at least well up there. 57 minutes he comes off and you're like, okay, that's 2 points down the toilet anyway. And then from then on in, it pretty much descended into dribs and drabs, scraps to be had here and there and nothing else.
Yeah, basically. I've got a Aguero captaincy, clean sheet. I ended up going with Edison in the end, and I've got a goal from Rashford. That's me, done.
3 returns so far. So any normal single game week, 49 points, you wouldn't be very happy with it. But it could be worse.
Look, it's halfway, isn't it?
Yep.
Essentially, and there's halfway still to go. I just fear, looking at my team, that I think half of it isn't going to play the midweek fixtures. For example, if Delafeu doesn't play against Fulham, it's a massive blow. Doesn't like Aguero play now. I don't think Sterling's going to play the second game. So possibly down to sort of 6-7 to go. So hitting the 100 points looks off for me. Yeah,
it's going to be very difficult. I'm at 46 points, and all 3 of my returns came from Manchester City. Ederson and Laporte double defensive returns, and then Sergio Aguero. Everybody else blanked. And I also had 2 of my bigger hitters benched in Eden Hazard and Heung-min Son, which you'd hope means that they'll
you'll
play
get it Wednesday.
Midweek.
Yeah, it's the same for me with Hazard.
But yeah, it was a very difficult game week. You had Batshuayi. I mean, Palace did well and won 2-0. You'd have hoped Batshuayi was in amongst the goals, and he wasn't. Delafeu wasn't. Lack a clean sheet for David Luiz. I know plenty of people that double Chelsea defence.
I've seen some triples.
Which was, yeah.
And they could still come in, like.
Of course. The next fixture's at home. But, yeah, literally 3 returns, which were all in the first game, and then nothing. So this is how I think the game week was for a lot of people. It was a big high and then dribs and drabs. I've seen people with PVA. I've seen people with Milivojevic.
Yeah.
Some with both. Our Watford correspondent, Stephen Toomey's had both, and he's sitting high on 71 points or 73 points or something now.
That's great.
Which is a really good result. But if you're north of 50, I think you've got to be happy at the moment, halfway through.
Oh, thanks, I'm on 49.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an arbitrary line in the sand. But north of 50, I think you've got to be happy.
I'm not sure. I'd have certainly wanted to be in at least over 60 for the weekend, knowing
that prior to the matches started.
Majority of my players were going to play.
Now that 9 games are down, 50 plus, you'd be happy. The average is sitting at 42. Remember, there was probably, 300,000 plus triple captains on Aguero, and that would be 30 points on its own.
Yes, and obviously there is the advantage of potentially having more fixtures left as opposed to a lot of people have perhaps carried through sort of your Liverpool players, your Bournemouth players, Vardy and the like. But obviously Arsenal still to go tonight. I mean, there's not a lot of ownership in the Arsenal-Newcastle game tonight, but for those who are carrying sort of Aubameyang, Lacazette, even if they do fucking nail it tonight, that's still going to hurt a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Speaking of people that carried through some Liverpool players, so they carried through some Liverpool players and didn't make any transfers this week and forgot to deploy their free hit chip. Manchild is above me in the league.
Manchild got more points than both of us.
He didn't play his free hit. He didn't make any transfers as he shoulda, woulda. And we are actually tied on points, but for some reason, maybe it's alphabetically, M is above S in the league. He is above me in the league.
It's mad, isn't it? All that planning and timing that goes into it, and he's just fucking forgotten. He's
Having
got more
said
points
that,
than us.
all he has left is he's got Aguero and Jimenez, Pogba, Luke Shaw, and Alonso. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players to go. I still have another full stack of 11 potentially.
And he might still beat you.
And he might still beat me.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? And we had a tenner on it as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he had a tenner and he gave so much for shit.
It was tenner for charity. But yeah, he never got around to it. And I phoned him at 10 past 11 to say he's got 20 minutes till the deadline. Does he want any help? He didn't pick up. He didn't take my call.
Oh, that's nice of you to offer. Considering your place on this podcast is up for grabs.
Yeah, exactly. I'm defecting, but yeah, there you go.
Did you go up in rank so far this week?
I have. I'm in the top million now. I went up by about 20,000 spots.
Nice. I've gone up about 400.
400 spots.
Brilliant.
There's still a long way to go. So I think that the couple of things that I want to do, run down the fixtures for what they're worth. We'll gloss over some which have very little FPL relevance, and then I just want to have a quick touch on what you're doing for 33 if you have any early ideas, because
Quitting.
the deadline is the deadline's early on Friday. We've got Friday night football, so you won't have a lot of time to turn around. I mean, in an ideal world, you want to wait and see what happens with the rest of the fixtures, but we're not going to have that luxury of a couple of days or what have you. You're going to need to be thinking about it now.
I'm pretty sure I know what my move is going to be, and I don't even care about it.
Yeah,
because it's so
just getting you through to your
template
wild
and
card,
ordinary.
basically.
Yeah, basically.
Fixtures. So let's start with the early kickoff. City, business as usual, really. But on the whole, I would say when City go 2-0 up after 25 minutes, with the likes of De Bruyne, Sterling, and co on the pitch, you'd have hoped for more, really.
Yeah, they took their foot off, didn't they? Because they knew it
Yeah.
was so easy. I mean, they could have had 5 or 6 in the first 15 minutes. It looked like they were going to murder them. But once they got the second, I think it was straightforward for them, saved the legs. It looks importantly like Guardiola's going to make mass changes for the Cardiff game on Wednesday.
That's based on his post-match press conference, right?
It's the comments that were released on City's account yesterday that suggests sort of, your Sanes, your Mahrez, they're all going to be getting minutes this midweek. So you look like the genius going double defensive, mate, because you might get some of that.
If Edison's going to play again,
yeah, of course.
We're very safe with that. It's all about whether Laporte plays again, really, for me.
The reason I ended up moving to Edison was that seeing the travelling party that had gone. So obviously Otamendi was fit, Stones was fit, and the company is fit as well. And I think there's a good chance he'll play on Wednesday. So it made me think, they could just completely change the whole team, couldn't they?
Yeah.
They could play Danilo at right back. He could change nearly the whole team. And that's why I ended up going for Edison. It wasn't a move that I wanted to make because I really felt that the max potential of it was 2 6s. But actually, the way this week's looking, I'll be quite happy with them
exactly.
2 6s. If it turns out Laporte doesn't play, then it was obviously proven to be the right move. But the problem was where I wanted to go instead defensively, I didn't, so I went without Palace. It was a big mistake. My feeling on Palace was, once I'd heard there was strong rumours that Tompkins wasn't fit.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it going, no Tompkins, no Sacco. There's every chance Huddersfield will score.
Yeah, and Huddersfield had plenty of chances.
So I went with Duffy.
And that's a nice link into the next match, which is Brighton 0, Southampton 1. 0-0 looking good for you for a while. But then our friend Højbjerg pops in with another goal.
Yeah, there were so many. I think for those who are following the chunky chip strategy are going to wildcard 34. Southampton are a massive look. They obviously play Liverpool Friday night, and I actually think it's Liverpool's toughest game left.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. I really think they might slip up Friday night at Southampton. I think with the atmosphere, they'll have too much for Chelsea with how pedestrian they are in 34.
Yeah.
And the rest of the fixtures look really winnable once they're away from that. think if they win Friday night, it really puts the pressure on for City, because City's remaining run after Cardiff, it looks awkward. Even from down to like Palace away, it looks...
Yeah, I mean, the run of...
They're awkward.
Playing you guys 3 times plus United is not going to be
With United's
easy.
the really big game, isn't it?
Of course.
Yes, obviously they'll be favourites to beat us 3 times, but it'll be a challenge for them. If we can go there and counter-attack like we counter-attacked to Anfield yesterday, we'll have half a chance. But I think it's more United games the one you'd worry for City that they could slip up. A massive game for Liverpool Friday night. I think if they was to go to Southampton and win, I think it really becomes 50-50 for the title.
Two teams in Brighton and Southampton that everybody needs to be aware of if they are wildcarding or as they're moving towards game weeks 34 and 35. 35 being the next big double. Brighton because they have 2 doubles, 34 and 35. And Southampton because they double in 35 and they've got some good price players in Jan Valery and JWP. And they've got others as well.
Well, importantly on Southampton, it's worth saying, importantly on Wood-Prowse, obviously they went to a back 4 at the weekend. Danny Ings playing back up front really helped. I think Armstrong off the left and then Redmond floating, give him a little bit more attacking threat. So Ward-Prowse probably didn't get in some of the positions that he has done recently, but it's all about his set pieces and his delivery in any case. But nearly that whole team at Southampton you can nearly look at from that starting 11 that played at Brighton.
I agree
like
with you.
Yoshida's back in, so it was important. Yoshida played with Bednarek. Vestergaard didn't play. Bertrand's back for it's too expensive in comparison to what you could get for Valerie. But Højbjerg's a great shout, you know. He just does come up with the goals. He plays every week. He's
cheap.
Yeah. And we spoke about him a lot during the season. He had a few goals from distance early in the season, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's a great one to sit in as sort of 4th, 5th midfielder during this
I think
period.
Højbjerg is a consideration. I like a bit of James Ward-Prowse because of history, but truth be told, in the price differential between him and Redmond, actually Redmond may be the better option. I don't think there's much in it in terms of value. A couple of pips in it.
He's the sort of player I'd really like to see at Spurs. If Spurs were to
JWP or Redmond?
Redmond. I think if Spurs were to go into the market in the summer, we can't go in and compete at like sort of the other top 6 level financially. We need to go and be looking at these young British players. I think he's got so much potential, Redmond. It's just at the moment the end product's not there. I think if you had to pin me down now from midfield to Southampton, I'd go Højbjerg.
Okay.
Sitting there, played the two games over that double.
What did you think about Burnley 2, Wolves 0? I was surprised with this result, but I suppose Wolves now are in that curse of 7th place.
It's
situation.
become really condensed again, hasn't it? That sort of race for 7.
I mean, we lost again at the weekend, West Ham, but we're still only 3-4 points behind these guys. And Everton are now back up in it.
And so Leicester.
And Watford and Wolves now will have their eyes on a different prize in terms of FA Cup. So
it's important to say on 7th. So 7th gets you into Europe. Basically, if Man City win the FA Cup.
Yeah.
If someone else wins it, then 7th's off the table. Now, obviously, 2 of the teams in Watford and Wolves are in the race for both, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it could mean that 7th won't get into Europe. It's important to say.
Yeah, but I think it's that Europe no one wants because you end up starting your season in end of July,
I
early
think
August.
all 4 of those clubs that are right in at the moment, you're still in it, to be fair. But I think for the other 4 particularly, no, I think they'd really want to be in it. I think Wolves are forward thinking on what to get in it. I think Leicester feel like, for their status, having been champions a few years ago, feel like they need to be playing European football. And Everton supporters will definitely feel like that. For Watford, it would be a massive bonus.
I'm surprised by Wolves. The problem for anybody that has Wolves players, a lot of people have Jimenez, is that will they then now go and rotate before the FA Cup semi? That's the question.
Well, you assume
some of the key players, I mean, the likes of Jimenez, they don't really have a replacement that's of the same standard.
No,
so you'd think that
you're
he's
not
more
going
than likely to start. But it's a home game against Manchester United. It's not going to be easy.
I think you're looking at mass rotation. So the main midfield 3 all played at the weekend. They'd all be at risk for the United game. Johnny would be a risk. Did you go with him in the end?
I did.
Yeah, so I think Vinagre will play.
Doherty a risk.
Doherty will come back in because he didn't play at the
he was
weekend.
benched.
So
Sorry,
I wouldn't
forgot. Yeah.
foresee Johnny playing. Jimenez obviously comes back in. Does he play with Cavallero again, or does Hotter play? I think as Hotter played at the weekend, he'd probably be left out. Majority will be Jimenez or Doherty, really.
Yeah.
They'll both play against United on Tuesday, I would have thought.
Palace 2, Huddersfield 0. As expected, to be honest.
It took them a while. They did have a few. Gator made one great save
really
in the first half.
Good shots. He should have scored it in the first 20 minutes.
I was listening to Chris Kamara on Goals on Sunday yesterday morning. He was at the game and he said, like, they played really well again, Huddersfield, basically.
Yeah, this is the big problem.
But Palace had a fuck ton of chance. I mean, Zaha
Yeah.
on a different week could have got anything he wanted and has ended up with just the 2 assists.
Should have been on the end of something.
Batshuayi had one really good chance early on where he could have either taken it a bit earlier or played Townsend in. I don't think that was a bad choice to go with Batshuayi. I don't think anyone from Palace was a bad choice.
I have a little bit of buyer's remorse with Batshuayi at that price that he's at. But, I mean, they've got a big game against you guys on Wednesday, so...
Yeah, massive game. Obviously, they do play in 33 away to Newcastle, and it's obviously worth saying Burnley are at Bournemouth, which we can cover in a sec. I don't think you're looking at Palace for 33 if you're looking to get one in. Just the fixture looks a bit awkward. Now, I don't think they obviously don't have a double 35 Palace. I don't think you're really looking onto them. And Huddersfield, obviously, inevitable relegation confirmed.
Disappointment.
Yeah, shame. But the problem over the 2 seasons from has been goals throughout. Hopefully, the infrastructure of that club. I really like what I saw when I went up there in the autumn. Hopefully, they'll keep the nucleus. I think they will keep the nucleus of the squad together and give themselves half a shot at coming back.
The manager that they recruited was with a view to next season.
Yeah.
Knowing that they were going to go down, so they haven't got that turmoil of managerial change either. So, you know, if they keep that nucleus and the same philosophy, anyone can come up from the Championship if you have a good squad and you have a good structure around you. So, Palace, I'm not considering either, but Wan-Bissaka's still in my squad because of the value, and I'll be
that's
with
fine.
him
You obviously keep
all the way through. At the moment, the way my team's lined up for game week 33 is a 5-3-2. The Wan-Bissaka will be playing.
Why have we? I'm going to have 5 at the back again the weekend as well. Why has that happened?
I have no idea. Leicester 2, Bournemouth 0. Bournemouth flaky away from home again, conceding goals. Is there something to be said for Leicester now?
I would expect, just on Bournemouth, obviously they played Burnley at the weekend, and Burnley's win was massive to give them that cushion over Cardiff.
Yeah,
I would expect a response from Bournemouth at the weekend. Eddie Howe was not happy after the game. Unusually quite frank and honest, saying they didn't deserve anything from the game, which is good to see. They had a really good chance early. Fraser to Wilson again. Schmeichel made a good save. Yeah. I'd expect a strong reaction from them at the weekend.
So, because I'm on Brooks and King and you're on Brooks and...
Brooks, Wilson and Metham.
Oh, so you've got 3 this week.
So they'll play for me, obviously. Leicester, we're going to have to strongly look at. I think they'll probably be the most looked at side ahead of the weekend for those who haven't carried through the triple Liverpool already. Thanks
to Chilwell for being one of the players in my non-free hit team to return with an assist.
Pereira.
Along with Robertson and Salah and a couple of others as well. I haven't done the maths. Have you done the maths?
Do you know what? It went through my head. Yeah, I was fucking pissed last night. It went through my head on the way home. I thought, I wonder if and I thought, do you know what? If I work it out, it'll upset me, I think. Because there was obviously a few returns. I would have had 8 for Pereira, 8 for Robertson. But I don't think there was too much more on top of that from what I had in 31, actually.
Yeah.
So, no, I would have been better off with the free hit. There's no doubt about it.
So, let's put it this way. Fabianski in goal for me would have given me nothing, but Robertson was an assist and a clean...
8 points,
and
Robertson.
8 points. Chilwell, assist. Yeah. Alonso, assist.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka, clean sheet.
Oh, nice.
Trent, he didn't pull up anything, but he put in quite a lot of crosses. Brooks and King, nothing. Mo Salah was an assist. Hazard and Arnautovic, nothing. But I probably would have more points because of that back four bringing in.
I think you'd
returns.
still be short, just.
Oof.
Because you got the Aguero captaincy,
20
right?
points of Aguero, yeah. Other than that, but I mean, who would I have captained this game?
Let's not even debate that. It
No.
probably would have been Salah. Yeah, I think Leicester this weekend, if you can afford to get Vardy in, consider it. I think the obvious one for me is I'd obviously carried Son through in case Spurs played in 33. So it's obviously him that will get moved on. I'll carry the Pogba Rashford value in case I want to keep them on the wild card. So it's definitely Son out for me. And Maddison is just the obvious one to look for. His stats come up so well, playing the poorest team in the league. I can't see it being Morris. And I'm not going to take a hit to try and force Hazard in, I don't think.
No.
So I'm just going to go Son to Maddison, I'm pretty sure.
And keep it at that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about my 33.
I'll come up with there's plenty, obviously, free hitting, it's worth saying, in 33. So we'll have a look at what that might look like at the weekend as well. I think Leicester will come up very prominently in free hit teams.
Yeah. So Manchester United 2, Watford 1. Anthony Martial was, after the free hit, everyone's got that shit. This guy was in my draft and this guy was not. Martial was the only one that I considered that got a return at the weekend instead of Son, because I didn't want double Spurs potentially, and I didn't go with it. But obviously he did return. Goal for Rashford, but Watford did well. Watford did all right. I think Watford had a lot of chances.
Watford should have got something from the game,
as Ole Gunnar said after the game as well. So, but Rashford keeps delivering, and there's a little bit of regret not keeping him in my free hit team.
We've got 2 articles coming up probably between now and the next podcast from Is My Cat Playing. I read them this morning. One is on United and looking at them as potentials for next season, not just obviously for this. I mean, Rashford is such great value now, and he's written a really nice piece speculating on likely prices for these players next year. Yeah, and they're all going to jump up, aren't they? I mean, Rashford, you're probably 100%. Looking at towards 10, maybe. 10. I would suggest.
At 10, I'd buy Rashford, I think, though.
I think a lot of that would depend on if he's definitely going to get favouritism ahead of Lukaku next season.
And other people's prices as well, obviously. But
yeah, the other thing that obviously fucked up the free hit was which meant changes was the late Lindelof news. Yeah. Friday night, a lot stuck with it. A lot made changes and went without. I was always of the position that I wanted Smalling rather than Lindelof anyway. But it was a case of, if I didn't have to force it, why force it and pay the extra? So I obviously ended up forcing it and paying the extra. And obviously, what was it, the injury time away from a clean sheet there? I'm sure the majority of people probably did have one or the other. I've seen a few teams with Shaw, obviously, with the assists would have been helpful. And I've seen a few with Young and a few with De Gea as well. I don't think they'll change much team-wise for the game on Tuesday, because obviously they've got no upcoming weekend fixture, United. Yeah. And Watford, I have absolutely no clue what sort of team they'll put out against Fulham. My theory is, obviously, having played at the weekend, that probably goes without Deulofeu.
You think so?
Yeah.
And should we talk about the other game?
Was there another one? Oh, yeah, your lot.
I mean, prior to this week, we would have said, well, we've said it last week when you asked me, should we bother with any West Ham players from 34 onwards? No. Straightforward no. But Everton we had kind of sidelined, but 4 clean sheets in 5, ticking along nicely now, and they seem to have found some rhythm. I think their defensive 2 midfielders of Gomez and Idrissa Gueye are the bedrock and foundation of what everything else that happens in that side. Those 2 playing give Everton some kind of stability that they can build on top of. And they do have creative players in Bernard and Sigurdsson, and even Dominic Calvert-Lewin had quite a few shots and chances and was busy and active. So Everton possibly now worth considering. Who is obviously a big question mark, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin's cheap as a third striker potentially, or Gylfi's really the main guy, and even Richarlison back in the thoughts.
I think if I was to go in this weekend on them, and because the form's suddenly okay, you can consider them, in spite of the fact they're obviously at home to Arsenal on Sunday. I mean, if I was going in, I'd go Sigurdsson, I think. Yeah. But I'm probably likely to stay away. That's a really interesting one. I'll look at it over the next couple of days in terms of what people might do free hitting wise in terms of coverage of this game.
Free hitting, or what would you mean?
With those who are going to free hit in 33, what do you do with the Everton Arsenal coverage for Sunday? Because I don't think it's an easy call now.
No, Arsenal are always prone to the odd cock up away from home.
Well, here's hoping.
So yeah, I mean, if they win tonight, they jump above you, don't they?
Yeah.
That's awful.
They can have third if I can have fourth. I'll happily shake hands on that now. I don't care.
Yeah, so it is tricky. I think Lucas Dean has worked his way into my thoughts for wildcard 34. Definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
No double, nothing like that.
Well,
Play United's in 35.
he's on the watch list. I'm not saying he's in the team.
I think for chunky chip wildcard in Everton are completely avoidable. But I think
They do have a couple of tough fixtures.
33 is the last time. I think you can look at them this weekend. As you said, 4 clean sheets in 5, including home games against Liverpool and Chelsea. And we kind of laughed, really, when they had the double. Was it 25?
Yeah.
At the state of owning their players felt terrible. Maybe he's starting to get a turn out of them. I mean, they could have won by more than 2-0, couldn't they?
Yeah, I think Marco Silva's got himself a state of execution until next season now. They ain't going to be...
Yeah, no. He'll be fine. So. His first season, he's got to get, a good run of at least the first 10 games or so next season to have a fair shot. And Calvert-Lewin, just to add, absolutely fascinated. I'm scouting him highly for the start of next season now. Yeah. Because I really fucked up with the forwards I went for at the start of this season in that price bracket. No, I ended up with Charlie Austin on the opening day, didn't I? So I think he's getting a run now, and he's only going to get better, Calvert-Lewin. I think if he comes in at sort of 5.5 to 6 again next season, he'll be in quite a few teams starting next season.
For sure. Tell me something. Is Bernard the skinniest professional footballer ever?
He's a little fella.
He's tiny. He must be about like 6 stone or
about
something.
The same height as me.
Yeah.
Just about half the weight.
It was just his arms. I was like, can you be any thinner? And as a professional footballer, you've got to be strong. But he does get about, and he's got that awkward
technical
frame.
player, yeah.
Very, very good. And well-taken finish. West Ham.
Meh.
I mean, when you got Lucas Perez starting the game and Chicharito on the bench, I didn't understand.
What was that all about?
I don't know.
Arnie?
It's not like we've got a midweek game for... it's not like we've got a midweek game that he wanted to rotate for. You saw Arnie's face when he came off and the way he was chucking his shin pads.
Shit again, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He wasn't great.
Will you do the usual, though, on Monday night at Chelsea? Will you turn up and give him a proper game?
We've got 3 games left this season. Chelsea, United and your lot. And we'll be up for those games. And the rest you can forget about. Yeah.
If you were free hitting 33, you've got to go triple Chelsea, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm considering armband on Hazard at home to West Ham on Monday night. 99% likely he'll probably be my captain.
I think he's probably because of Liverpool's fixture and the way you're playing at the moment, I think Hazard probably is the standout captaincy for 33. So I'll be on Salah. What about you?
I'll be on Hazard probably.
Have you got him in already?
Yeah. I already had Hazard.
Yeah, I think go that way.
Yeah. I do think though. So Tom from Who Got the Assist had been tweeting saying that West Ham were the first in their flip flops in beach mode, and just basically didn't really give a toss. I don't think that's true. I don't think we're at that stage where we don't care. I just think we were rubbish on the day. If you look at the way Arnie came off the pitch and the face of the players, they were pissed off.
A lot of the well-followed West Ham accounts on Twitter were incredibly critical of the performance.
It was a bad performance. I don't think it was because we didn't care and we got nothing to play for. I just think it was a bad performance. And we're prone to throwing them out like every 4th, 5th game, frustratingly, even though we'd had a good run at home. Glad I missed it.
What you need to do as a club, and this takes some doing, and I watched Spurs try and do it for years unsuccessfully, is you need to change the mentality of the club. In terms of like it being laid down that's unacceptable. Yeah, I've seen Spurs have good runs and then have that sort of fixture in late March, early April, and you're like, what is this? This is nothing. And unfortunately, Tom's right, mate. It is beach mode.
Do you think so?
Because there's a lot of players there who don't feel. Do you know what I mean? If they're not like the Andersons or Arnautovic's, I know Anderson in fairness didn't play at the weekend. Yeah, but if they're not in the mood, they're not in the mood. Yeah. And I think for where you want to go as a club next, you'll be better off getting shot of Arnautovic. Yeah. And getting on with it. Yeah. I said that to you in January. I think if you don't want to be there, fuck him off. Fuck him off, yeah.
It will be interesting. The big talk at the moment is Manchester United preparing a bid in the summer for Declan Rice. So if that happens, then it will be one step backwards because he really is.
Well, he's going to get looked at, isn't he?
Of course. So it's just about if the money's right. And if the money's right, I mean, by all means, you got to sell him. But it's going to put the club backwards a little bit because he is one of the foundation pillars that we can build the future on.
Enough on West Ham. We'll talk more Thursday.
Cardiff 1, Chelsea 2. Warnock is the story of...
Bless him.
Yeah. I mean...
You're him. I'm 70. Why am I doing this?
I think he's got to shut up, to be honest. And the reason, for a couple of reasons. I understand officials get decisions wrong. They don't do it on purpose, right? They are trying their best to get the decisions right. And it's the double standards with Warnock. Jackie Oatley from BBC put a great tweet out showing his comments after Cardiff had gotten lucky offside goals and his comments when they hadn't. And he was on TalkSport this morning going on about how it doesn't even itself out over a season, and he's got a list of all the times when Cardiff were done wrong and done right, and it's like 12-1 that they were done wrong. But I don't know. I don't think you can have it both ways. You can't brush it off when it goes for you and then moan like hell about it when it doesn't go for you.
That said,
if they go down off the back of it,
they are going to go down.
If Liverpool win the league off the back of an offside goal at West Ham, do you know what I mean? It's going to be, but VAR's round the corner.
That decision yesterday at Cardiff is the worst refereeing decision of the season.
It was rubbish.
That's shocking.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the worst, to be honest.
Do you think of a worse one? Because I can't.
Well, Robertson at West Ham was as blatantly offside as well. But
Robertson? Was it Milner?
Was it Robertson or Milner?
James
Whoever
Milner.
on the right,
yeah,
crossed it in. I thought it was one of them. Was bad. I mean, there's been some bad decisions.
There's a big clue in what happened in that yesterday is the fact that there's a 6-yard box and Azpilicueta's the only prick inside it. There's a big fucking giveaway clue is there's a line there to help you as well.
Yeah.
The Cardiff player's got 1 foot over the line, the other on the other side of the 6-yard line, and Azpilicueta's 2 yards ahead of him. That's a pretty big clue. Someone's put the imaginary graphic design there for you with the line, and he still can't get it right. And it's from a corner. It's not like the one against you, which was, all right, was right beside him. But yeah, the game's moving and he was in a bad position and he fucked it up badly. This one, the guy's not moved from the corner flag. The build-up's gone. It's gone to the edge of the box. You haven't had to move. No. All this excuse about, he's leaning around Willian and all that. Come on, please.
He should do better.
This is definitely the sort of goal where I can't argue against VAR.
Nah, for sure. The problem I think it highlights is that this is what the officials are going to do when VAR comes in, not make the decision and hope that VAR sorts it out. Because it was not a VAR decision.
Well, you know my worry about that is
it's going to take ages.
It will take the feeling from the game, because obviously if you're a Chelsea fan behind the goal, you can't see that he's offside. You're gonna shout goal, aren't you? Obviously, I never want that emotion of scoring a goal to be taken away from me in a stadium. That's my biggest concern.
Sure.
But when it has an impact like that, it's not just Cardiff at the bottom end, is it? It might cost Arsenal, Spurs, or Man United a Champions League place as well.
Yeah.
So we're talking major implications in terms of just the financials alone at both ends of the table, that goal.
But I think based on what has happened now, no one's arguing against VAR. VAR's coming anyway, and now it's just a case of getting VAR to be as good as it possibly can be.
On the game, Camarasa I hold some regrets about because...
We talked about it.
Because he's done well, and you kind of know that he was going to be in and about it if Cardiff did do anything. And I think he was a good budget choice, and there are some who've went with him, and well, I've seen actually quite a few have got Camarasa as first sub, and are hoping for sort of no Leroy Sané, for example, in midweek. You're going to get Leroy Sané, and you'll get more than what Camarasa got, I should suspect as well, by the way. But Chelsea will bang average, mate. Again, the win papered over a really bad performance. Credit to them for going and winning the game in the end. It's come about through the offside goal. Yeah, I think they would have lost.
Not gone on and won it.
The supporters there are not happy. I think in terms of the investment of their players going forward, because they're going to they'll beat Slavia Prague in Europe, won't they? And they'll get to the semi-finals. And at this stage, on sort of say the 34 wild card, if you're on that route, is really difficult to picture looking at them, I think. So I think 33 for a lot of FPL owners this will be the last weekend to look at Chelsea. And my advice on that is, I can't. Chunky Chip Boy himself, Higuain, he's fucking shit. Don't care. And I'm in, and I've had him on the free hit, and I'm going to be stuck with him again in 33. He's one that I can't wait to see the back of. He just looks shite. I think Hazard is the must, and then you look at him defensively, is the safest thing to do in 33. And that's why those who went double defensive in 32, although obviously it let you down, I think that was the right choice in hindsight.
Yeah. Talking about, I'm just going to pull it up on Twitter. I don't know if you saw Adam352's tweet, which I tagged as my tweet of the day.
It was about Higuain, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think it was.
The cheaters cheated something, didn't
tweeted,
they? Yeah.
What does Higuain give you that Giroud doesn't? To which Adam replied, fidelity to his wife or something like that. That was my tweet of the day. So at 352 Adam is definitely worth following because he's pretty witty.
We know as well that Giroud will be good for Hazard. I think it's the numbers have backed that up since Giroud went there.
Yeah.
And Chelsea will have someone else next season. They'll probably buy someone else in January. You know what they
Marko
won't?
Arnautovic,
You know what they won't do?
him.
They won't give Tammy Abraham a chance.
No. Frustrating. They can. We've got a few they can have. They could buy Andy Carroll. They could buy Arnautovic. I'll do them 2 for 1 if they want.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Llorente.
We chuck him in as well. Let's talk about the last game of the weekend so far, and we'll probably squeeze in a couple of Twitter questions.
Did you watch the game?
I watched the highlights. I listened to most of the second half.
Obviously, I was emotionally involved. It felt like a great game.
I thought you guys would win. I was going into it thinking that you guys would do a number of them. I think if Son had played instead of Moura, you possibly could have.
I think Lucas Moura was just about our best player, actually.
Yeah, Son's just quicker. I don't know. Is Son quicker? I think Son's quicker.
He's
More
quicker,
pace.
yeah, but Lucas, his physical hold-up play in the first half was really good, actually, and brought players into the game. Son's not got so much of that. Yes, of course, he's a better finisher, etc., Son. But he'd also had the Korean journey and that, so it probably wasn't too surprising it's left out. I think, actually, the fact he's left out is probably good news for those who've gone in on Son.
Yeah.
Because he'll certainly play against Palace in the week. I felt before the game that if they scored early, I thought we'd get battered, honestly. I was worried about it. Once I'd heard Dyer and Winks were both out, I was like, fucking hell, he's going to have to go Sissoko, Eriksen, Ali and play with a back five. And that's what he did, and that's how I would have set up as well. Once we changed to 4-4-2 and we stayed in the game, I was speaking to lads in the pub, I was saying, stay in the game, because if we could nick the goal, Liverpool would have to try and win it. Yeah. And we could have them bring in Son on with his pace in the second half. And I think that was the plan all along. Then we scored, and then we should have won it. Absolutely should have won it with Sissoko's chance. But there's not a Spurs fan alive. I know Van Dijk did defend it really well, but there's not a Spurs. There's not a Spurs fan alive that thought he was going to score.
Nah.
Nobody thought he was going to score.
No.
And the irony is, Sissoko's been absolutely brilliant for us this year, and I mean that genuinely because I've slagged him off in the past. But when it comes to the top level, and you need a little bit of composure and a technical quality, you see that he's still a limited footballer. He's
not in your team for doing that, like breaking through, getting around Van Dijk and putting it in the goal. That's not what you have him in the team for. So it wasn't that surprising. But there was a lot of talk about whether or not Ali should be playing further forward than Eriksen, or they should be the other way round potentially.
Well, he had to keep changing it because there was no lack of sort of holding midfield play. It speaks a lot of volumes about what I've said. Wanyama's finished. The fact that he wasn't selected with Winks and Dyer absent. He was never going to trust Oliver Skip yet in that sort of atmosphere. So he picked the team. I obviously would have played some myself. But in terms of the way he set up the team, I would have played that way. And I think we'll probably set up similar against Palace at home, but the wing backs will be far more advanced, and it's now a massive game.
You tweeted yesterday that you had heard, or did you tweet this morning that you'd heard that Harry Kane has a muscle injury and will not play on Wednesday?
Correct.
From who? Ben Dinnery?
No, from fucking April Fools.
Okay, fair play.
You are the only dickhead who's fallen for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yes. So it was worth it.
Yeah. I fell for it in the sense that I just read it and I thought I'd ask you the question.
Yeah.
All right, okay, fine. So, because I was thinking muscle injury, no, because he played the game yesterday and first game at the new stadium, that guy's fucking going to be in crutches. He'll be
Listen,
like, give me every pain-killing injection
Harry Kane could have one leg. He could have amputation. He'll still be on that pitch on Wednesday night and still claiming the first goal, no matter what.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think, albeit the first half of this this double game week hasn't been the best, my 3 City assets are all at home if they play on Wednesday.
They won't.
My 2 Spurs assets are at home, and I think they both will play.
You got Son and Kane.
Son and Kane.
Yep.
My 2 Chelsea assets now have a home fixture in Hazard and David Luiz. I think they'll both play because Hazard was dropped. So out of those 7, if I get 6 out, I'll be pretty happy.
I think they're in quite a strong
will play.
position.
Batshuayi will play.
Would think so, although Benteke made a bit of a difference.
Yeah, he came off at 73 minutes, but let's see. And then I've got Johnny and Delafeu.
I don't think either will start.
Which I'll take on the chin if that's that. But I think, how many out of your second running of 11 would you have been happy with prior to the game week starting playing? 8? 9?
Yeah, 7 to 8. I think
7 to 8. 3 or 4 rotated
from the total
of
22 games, I'd have wanted sort of at least 16 starts, I think. So I had 10 starters at the weekend. Yeah. The only one I didn't was Hazard, which it could be positive, like if he tears it up against Brighton, and he may well do so. I don't see a lot of returns from the rest because I picked a team really for the weekend fixtures. I think Higuain won't play against Brighton now as well. If he does, I don't think he'll do fuck all.
I only had 9 starters, which was Son and Hazard dropped.
If I could change it now, I think I'd probably gone to Kane or Son.
Tottenham.
Yeah, our season will hinge. If we win Wednesday, I think we'll finish top 4. If we don't, we won't. I think it's become that big now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a quick chat about
Salah's assist.
I don't know. Do we need to bother?
Well, yeah, because a lot of people are fucking up in arms about it, aren't they? I'll give you my take. I've got no problem with it at all.
I don't like overly debating shit that you're not going to be able to do anything about or have any control over. So just kind of suck it in and deal with it. That's my point of view on it, right? Take Aguero's assist for Bernardo Silva's goal, where he taps it to him, but Bernardo does all the work and puts it in the bottom corner from outside the box. Where's the assist in that, right? So many other what you'd call light assists that aren't really assists, where the player gives it to him on the halfway line, he runs all the way through and scores. That's an assist, is it? Really? Come on, just deal with it. I think it's going to happen 5 to 10 times a season.
What was pointed out was,
and then be done with it.
There's a bit of a grey area in terms of the rule, because I kind of think of it like the goal was from a rebound, but it also says in the rules that if it's come from an error, then it should be annulled and it shouldn't count. So clearly Lloris, I mean, fuck knows how he's not caught it. It was an error to drop the ball, but at the same time, it was a shot at goal and therefore a rebound that went straight in off Alderweireld.
Yep.
I didn't personally have a problem with him getting the assist.
With the Martial goal, there was no assist awarded, right?
It was Lingard's cross, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Martial shot, it came off the keeper, and then he bundled. So it was a save, and then he was
like a double.
So that's not a deflection. That's not or a error. That's considered a touch.
No, I mean the argument against that is that Lingard's intended target was Martial, because they've had that one, haven't they? Plenty of times. If it's the intended target.
Yeah.
Certainly Martial was the intended target.
It was literally kick. Comes off him, and he kicked it, comes off him, and then puts it in.
In real life, like what you're saying,
that's an assist.
Lingard's is more of an assist than Salah having an effort on goal that's saved.
Yeah.
In real life, yes. I agree.
So I don't know if sure we can debate it, but they're not going to change the rules.
No, the more you get annoyed with the rules, the worse you're going to feel about it.
Yeah,
You
there's
can't
a few
fucking-
things. Assists and BPS, we're just not going to ever fix that
Not
problem.
really, probably
so
not.
let's leave it out.
How are we for
Game
time?
week 33. We have 12 minutes before we'll wrap up this little mini episode.
To a few Twitter cues?
Yeah, but tell me, any early your early thoughts on 33 are
Son to Maddison.
straightforward as
I'll
that.
leave Anderson on the bench, carry the value Pogba Rashford. I'll go 5-3-2 at the weekend. That'll be me. I'll cover it a bit more on we'll pod again Thursday, and I'll look at a potential free hit for Thursday, because that will look a little bit different to what I think most people's free hit 31 would have looked, and partly because of that Everton Arsenal fixture.
Yeah.
And I think you'll get more variations. I think a little bit like that game week in 31, looking at Leicester and Bournemouth, a lot of people will do it again.
Yeah. Okay. Let's jump into some Twitter questions. Someone's knocking on the door. Should we let Matt
Open the
Child
door,
do
Matt
it?
Child. It's all right,
Let's
mate.
see who it is.
This is not going to be good for the podcast, us sitting in
No,
silence.
exactly.
It's the
Tell
man
me
child.
about it.
How are you, mate?
Right, let's get into some Twitter questions, shall we?
He's fucked it, hasn't he? He's fucked the video. It's all right. We still recording the podcast, man child?
We are still recording.
All right, carry on then.
Oh, let's crack.
Wait.
No, we're not recording the podcast. Are we recording the podcast? Yeah. Carry on,
Carry on
Sid.
talking then. Right.
What a farce.
Come on then.
Do some Twitter quiz.
Let's look at some Twitter questions. At FPL Rovers, Jack's Lads. What mistake did you make in game week 32 that you won't make in game week 35?
Having fucking Chelsea players.
Well, they won't have a double game week, so
Well, yeah, exactly.
you can't really consider it the same
I think
mistake.
the mistake for me was Palace. I'm not going to have Palace on the wild card either for 35. That was the haunting one. And look at it from my own perspective, Milivojevic particularly, looking at it and going, what's the fucking chance of him getting a pen? But I knew it was a chance, and I knew he was going to play twice. And actually, Decore is another one that's annoyed me a bit, because those two we've mentioned a few weeks ago about their minutes are incredible. Decore has missed a few games since, but with Milivojevic, you really want someone in there who can return, who's not that expensive, who you know is going to play 2 games. And it actually, in hindsight, it's blindingly fucking obvious, wasn't it?
Yeah.
PVA I did look at, but was definitely ruled out for me once I had to go Lindelof to Smalling, because it just would have fucked things too much value-wise, and I didn't need that much there defensively once I was going Ederson as well. Spurs as well. I will certainly be on Spurs for
So I think what you're saying, kind of, whether correct me if I'm wrong, is that you were going in all eggs in a few baskets, and I spread myself a little thinner. Do you think you'll spread yourself a little thinner in the next?
Oh yeah, that's definite, because
to
you
summarise it at
want
that.
the bench players as well, right?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I
We're
put
gonna be bench boosting
I put
this
3
time.
players on my bench this week who I really thought weren't going to do fuck all. But
think
if
I've
I end
got-
up with 2 points from them, I end up 2 points from them.
I got 2 that aren't even in the flipping game anymore.
It doesn't matter, does it? I mean,
for this week it doesn't. No,
I assume all 11 of your
they're out. So yeah, there we go. Jeremiah Johnson, Jeremiah N, on Twitter. Maybe it's longer than that, but it's got ... Can't click in. What is an assist?
There you go.
I don't want an answer to that, but I thought I'd just raise
ask
it.
FPL Towers, because we're not too sure.
I had a few people tweet at me, and including Sham, 2 Guys One Cup FPL podcast, saying that do people think I'm still crazy for not putting in Sterling and going double defence? I'm not one for that. Was more of a defensive calculated risk rather than a attacking move from an FPL
I think
point
this
of
is
view.
this is your chance to big yourself up a little
I
bit here,
don't-
mate.
well-
Because you got massive criticism for not going for Sterling.
Yeah, but then he could have hurt me as well. The reason I didn't go for him is look throughout history, right? How many players have scored hat tricks in like 6 games in a row or banged in that consistency? They haven't. He played both games for England, so I didn't think he was going to play both games, and so I just didn't justify the value in it.
Q Sterling hat trick on Wednesday.
Yeah, tell me about it. But for me, Laporte and Ederson, 2 games, 2 clean sheets, 24 points. I would have just been the foundations of what I wanted to do.
I don't think Laporte will play in the week.
Yeah,
that's why I moved
I
off.
mean, it is still a challenge, isn't
Yeah.
it? Really. So, but we shall see. But it was a
Catch.
defensive move. It wasn't an attacking move, and I don't like it when defensive moves come up. It's not as satisfying as when you put a punt in, like someone who.
No, but at the end of the
played.
day, the only Big Six team that played at the weekend kept a clean sheet, right?
Yeah, true.
And even the ones below, Wolves, Watford conceded, haven't they? So it was only Palace really as well. The only ones, weren't they? So it was only City, Palace in terms of the teams playing doubles.
Yeah. Right, okay. Amber Redmond. James, how has your approach to playing the game changed over the seasons? It was a nice long-term.
A little bit more data-driven, a little bit. I do look at the numbers more now, whereas everything before has just been pure gut instinct. A lot of it still is for me. I do look at the numbers more for things like this. Not that I'm going to go into the detail that some other pods do. I don't think our listeners want us to particularly.
No, we'll talk about that in a sec. Go on. Or should we talk about it now?
Yeah, go on.
We had an article from FPL Canal on just before.
Yeah, that was another thing that made me think about Milivojevic as well.
But double game weeks consistent. But he was talking about BPS, particularly, and players that had high points hauls like 4+, 10+, and then defensive BPS when they only get one return, etc., etc. There was a table of double game week players with more than 4 points this season, 4+ points in how many matches. So in that list, top 5 was Sterling, Hazard, Kane, Aguero, Jimenez. Only one of those returned. Closely followed by Alonso and Azpilicueta, who both returned. But of the top 5, only one returned. And then you've got Pogba, Sane, David Luiz, Kyle Walker in that list who didn't return.
I said to you off air, and I tweeted the team last night that not from live teams, but overall percentage of ownership. If you'd have picked the 11 most owned, you'd be sitting on 42 points now. If you captain Aguero, you'd have 52.
Yeah.
Be the same shit that we're at, really. So
players with more than 10 points.
A lot of the highly owned players, not for the first time this season, a blank or a double so far, have let down.
10+ point hauls this season in order of players playing. Stop me when we get to someone who did return so far. Sterling, Hazard, Kane, Pogba, Sane, Son, are we there? Milivojevic. So it's down to your 7th or 8th player on the list before you got a return. And whilst it's a great article with really good, interesting stats, it made me just realise I'm not going to bother reading any more stats anymore because they can be misleading sometimes. But very hard.
It was FPL Canal's article that made me really want to second guess Milivojevic and look back at it because you couldn't argue on the numbers. And he only got the one bonus, I think, at the weekend, Milivojevic.
Yeah.
But he's been averaging more than 2 for just a single return. So that was something I wanted to consider as well. What was the rest of Amber's question? Sorry.
She had a question for me, which was, will you run a marathon before the next decent West Ham performance? And we all know that, like you said, we get up for the big games and not for the rest. And we do have Chelsea coming up. So you might see a decent performance then, but it's Monday night, isn't it? So
yes.
Nighttime football on TV, potentially.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
No. Right, okay. There's quite a few questions like people who are a bit upset and angry with the game or certain players within the game. Like Mr. FPL Liam, why is Sissoko so shit? I think that's a bit harsh.
I've explained it.
And Raj Chakrabarti, why is FPL so harsh?
Because it is. It's the nature of the beast.
This season has been more brutal than any others, but I think it
feels that way more as well. The more time you spend on Twitter, the more you look at other teams, the more players there are, the worse it's going to make you feel if you think about it too much.
Yeah. Right, okay. This is a good one because a lot of people are in this boat. You're benching Felipe Anderson. I'm benching Felipe Anderson at the moment. But for my game week 33 transfer, one of Arnautovic or Anderson is going to be sacrificed. I don't have any money in the bank, so it depends where I can get to from who. It may even be Anderson to Richarlison. Fucking hell. Can't believe I'm going to bring that guy back in. But it's only for a 1 week punt.
Wow.
1 week punt. 1 week punt. With 2.5 million in the bank, who to bring in for Felipe Anderson in game week 33? That takes you from 7.1 to 9.2 8.6
It's
million.
short of Mane, isn't it?
Yes. Mane's gone north of
I
10.
assume you've got Mane then.
He's north of 10 now.
The problem with that is that, I mean, like Pedro, I'd say if you knew he was going to play,
Yeah.
would come into my thoughts again. Don't know he's going to play. To be honest, you can have that money available, but I still think the best choice there would be Maddison, or actually other Leicester alternatives. Harvey Barnes, Damari Gray are worth considering, and Tielemans had a price rise last night, I saw.
Yeah.
They're all decent options. Maddison's numbers in terms of, I think it's most chances created in the league this season, I believe, and quite by a distance. I don't think you can argue with that when they're playing Huddersfield away at the weekend. I'd just go with that.
Right. I think that's it. We do have some other questions that are looking forward to game week 33. But I think we're going to address them on Thursday when we come back, because we'll have had all of the other fixtures done and dusted. There may still be some injuries that crop up in the next few days as well, which we want to try and not second guess. Well.
What we didn't want to do was just record Thursday at the end of the game week and try and wrap everything in with you to have no time to
talk about.
Yeah, and to consider it being very close to the 33 deadline. So on Thursday, we'll obviously wrap up the midweek fixtures, including the Arsenal game tonight. Look at a 33 free hit and what we're going to do from there, and more Twitter cues.
Exactamundo. So here's a short 55 minutes for you. I hope you've enjoyed listening to us go through the weekend games. It wasn't as depressing as some of the previous episodes, despite us having average free hit
I feel pretty
results
depressed.
And Spurs losing and West Ham losing. We'll rename this.
That's a fucking nightmare.
But do listen back. Thursday, we're going to be coming back at you. Don't keep the faith, because there's still only now 6 game weeks to go, 33, 34.
It's true. Come Thursday morning, we could be recording again, and this outlook may look very, very different again.
For sure.
So.
Wait, Harry Kane's scoring a hat-trick at your new stadium, and I'm going to be king. And then we'll be looking at, game week 33, very closely followed by wildcard in game week 34, very closely followed by double game week 35. And then if you want to do a West Ham and put your feet up and on the beach, do it. But until then, keep your head in the game, and ciao for now.
Good luck, everyone. Cue music, man, child.
The Fantasy Football Show.